There's dirt on my hand.
Hello YouTube, Boss Rino. Welcome to my channel. So ito is request to slap ham. Magaganda yung video na slap ham, no? Maganda, kaya subscribe nyo to. Slap ham. Bakit kaya Islam? Mahilig kaya sa ham. Tapos baboy pa yung kanyang logo, di ba? Mahilig siya manampal ng baboy. Tapos ginagawa niyang ham. Ay putang ina, Boss Rino, you're so brilliant. Scary videos that will terrify you. So game, try natin ito bago pa try na iba.
Our first clip comes from the TikTok account f.paranormally. It shows some home security footage of a
TikTok
kid.
Paranormally, di ba? Yun yung pagkakabigkas niya. Dami ko natutunan na pronunciation sa mga to.
TikTok account.
Tingnan.
Our first clip comes from the TikTok account f.paranormally. It
Diba?
shows some home security footage of a kitchen where something strange happens. Some viewers have asked the question, is this a real ghost attack caught on camera? Take a look.
Parang Pinoy lang eh, no? Ganun yung mga lagay ng oh! Putang ina mo. Oh, hinila siya.
As you can see, it appears something inexplicable happens to this poor, unsuspecting homeowner. Breaking the clip down.
Tangina, kumamot pa ng pet bago lumabas eh. Kasi kumamot ka ng pet eh.
Happens to this poor,
Nangangamot ng pet eh,
homeowner.
oh.
Breaking the clip down, we first see the chair move, seemingly all on its own. Then the homeowner appears to be grabbed by some unseen force.
Yun, oh, tangina, yun ang nakakatakot.
While on face value,
yung paghila
this
sa
appears to be
paa.
something straight out of a horror movie. A few viewers have pointed out a few telling details that may prove this is all a hoax. When the man first walks to the table, keep an eye on his right hand. You can see he grabs something that looks like string. He makes a few tugging actions, then the chair miraculously moves. It's then a matter of falling over and lifting your leg in a way that looks as though you're being pulled up the stairs. So, it would seem our first encounter for this episode is indeed a fake.
Yung sabihin natin fake fake yung upuan, pero yung paghila sa paa niya hindi fake yun. Parang ang hirap gawin yun.
While the previous clip may have been a fake, this next one proves to be a little more mysterious. In April of 2017, worshippers in the Church of Santa Ana in the western Mexican state of Jalisco witnessed something so mysterious that many described it as a miracle. The bizarre event was captured on camera by a churchgoer during Easter celebrations. Watch what happens. Slowing that down and zooming in, you can see the head of the statue of Jesus Christ shift its head.
Uy, seryoso ba yan?
When news of the moving Jesus statue broke, it made headlines all around the world, with many hailing it as the beginning of the second coming of Christ.
Shit.
One of the witnesses, Estela Gomez, told local journalists he believes Jesus is sending some kind of message. However, the priest of the church, Juan Antonio Guare Lule, remained a little more level-headed and said it may have just been a coincidence. He said that the statue normally rests inside a glass coffin and that it was moved for the Easter celebrations. It's possible then the statue simply moved slightly after being shifted from its usual spot. For many locals though, this event remains a remarkable phenomenon, a message from Christ himself, a moment that will stay with them forever.
Oh, tangina, grabe. Gumalaw eh, no?
In November of 2021, TikTok user Verda
Dito, wala kayo dito sa amin kasi dito sa amin sumasayaw. Lumuluha ng dugo. Oh, walang panama yan. Kaya ako hindi ako masyado natakot diyan kasi dito sa Pinas mas malupit, 'di ba? Naiyak ng dugo. 'Di ba? Tapos sumasayaw, 'di ba? Mas malupit dito kaya wala yan, panis siya, wala sakaling kingan namin. Yung mga ano namin dito, yung mga tawag dito, yung mga ganyan nangyayari. Wala sa Pinoy yan. Only in the Philippines.
Dad ex Puesta began noticing some strange behavior happening in his neighbor's house. From his balcony, he could see into his neighbour's apartment where something truly bizarre seemed to be happening. He took out his phone to capture the sighting. Take a look. Shadowy figures appear to be moving at an unnatural pace throughout the home.
Bilis to.
They zip back and forth.
Tang ina. Tang
Several
ina.
days
Kamag-anak yata ni Flash to eh.
later, the OP noticed more strange behaviour. This time, it appears as though the occupants of the house are walking around backwards.
Oh, putang ina. Naglalakad pa, no?
It would seem this eerie activity isn't just at night time either. Is the house during the day.
O, nakita niyo yung dumaan yung kotse, normal na speed lang, 'di ba? So hindi siya pinas forward.
Again, we can see the shadow figures zipping about the home.
Bilis, oh. Oh, kita niyo yung tayo yung
Back and
kotse.
forth, over and over.
Oh, kita yung kotse. Baka naman nag-skateboard lang sa loob. Tangina, nag-skateboard sa loob ang puta.
Some viewers suggested it might simply be an active child that likes running around the house. However, others aren't so sure, given that the figure moves at such an unnatural speed and
bilis nga.
almost constantly day and night. This has left many with the conclusion that we're seeing some kind of paranormal entity, perhaps some kind of residual energy from someone who passed away that used to live in the apartment. Of course, there's not a lot of solid proof of this, and all we have to go on is this eerie behaviour caught on camera. I'd love to get your take on this sighting. Share your theories in the comments section down below.
Takot, no? Tapos kapitbahay mo ganyan, nakikita mo. Hindi ako makakatulog
When
niyan.
a guard at the Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa, Japan, thought they saw something unusual on the CCTV monitor, they had to rewind the video and watch it again to be sure.
Ito, Japan.
After a second look, they were puzzled as to what they were seeing. The footage, which was uploaded to YouTube by Jose Cruz, focuses on an intersection just outside the base. It's unclear what time it was when the video was recorded, but the sky is inky black. Just behind a road sign in the bottom left corner of the screen, a dark shadow begins to slowly amass. At first, it looks like any ordinary shadow. However, as it grows darker, it becomes clear that something more sinister could be happening. Take a look.
You see?
Yeah, I see the shadow moving.
You see how it moves? It's
Yeah,
in
it's
this
right.
corner. And
It's
that's-
right behind the sign. Yeah.
and it's gonna fly away in a little bit.
Roger, go ahead and take care of yourself, copy.
Right there, it's going.
You know?
Okay.
Hold on.
You wanna see it again? No rewind.
Hold on. Do you want it? And pause
Tinatawanan lang nila eh.
Watching that again, the dark shadow raises itself from the ground and flies across the road.
You see?
it? Yeah, I see the shadow moving.
You see how it moves? It's
Yeah,
in
it's
this
right.
corner. And
It's
that's-
right behind the sign. Yeah.
and it's gonna fly away in a little bit.
Roger, go ahead and take care of yourself, copy.
You know?
It's going.
Okay.
Tangina.
You wanna see it again? No rewind.
Hold on. Do you want it? And pause it.
That's it.
It hovers for a moment before returning to the center of the street.
It's coming up. Really?
You know, nalipad.
Oh, that's game over. That's it.
The on-duty guards had no explanation for the strange event, but are convinced that a ghost was to blame. Eerily, this isn't the only military base in Okinawa that is rumoured to be haunted. Camp Hansen is a United States Marine Corps base. Inside the compound, at the infamous Gate 3, many soldiers have reported some strange activity. It's said that every so often a soldier dressed in World War II fatigues approaches the gate. He's covered in blood with a cigarette hanging from his mouth. He asks the on-duty guard for a light, then vanishes from sight. There are reports of this gate being closed altogether because of this haunting. It's alleged some Japanese guards refuse to be posted there. There are thousands of reports of paranormal activity all over Okinawa. Many believe there's a link between the hauntings and the deadly conflict the island saw in World War II. The Battle of Okinawa, which began on April 1st, 1945, was the bloodiest battle of the Pacific War. Estimated casualties sit at over 240,000. Could this mass loss of lives be the reason for all the ghostly sightings on the island?
Pag mga Japan talaga,
Many
pag Japan talaga, laging dito sa atin, di ba, yung mga Japan na, yung mga abandon na dating, yung mga libingan ng mga Hapon, di ba, yung mga, lagi sila nakakatakot talaga, sobrang creepy nila.
Normal experts believe that when sustained trauma takes place and lives are lost, a residual energy can remain in place, causing what we know as a haunting. This theory suggests that ghosts are a sort of echo or energy loop, a memory that plays over and over, permanently etched into reality. So what do you think about this theory? Could the ghostly sightings all over Okinawa be evidence that the theory is true? Drop your thoughts and opinions on this in the comments section down below.
Roger, go ahead and take care of yourself. Copy.
Ano kasi CCTV, so nagtitiktok lang yung soldier. Nakikiuso yan eh.
Right there, it's going.
Where's look at?
Hold on.
You want to see it again? I'll rewind.
Hold on.
This next photo has unknown origins,
Ito
but is
ang
often
bata.
passed around old paranormal forums. It shows a mother taking a selfie while her child is outside with their hands on the glass door. The freaky thing is, there appears to be a dark shadow looming over the child.
Ano ba ginagawa ng bata
Looks
sa
like the
likod?
head and shoulders of
Ng
a
pinto.
person. Stories linked to the photo say that the young child is often heard talking to someone when alone in their room. When asked who they're talking to, the child simply points to a corner of the room, but there's nothing ever there. So could this shadow be some kind of paranormal entity that's attached itself to the young child? Unfortunately, there's very little info regarding the photo. No one knows who the mother is or where the picture was taken. So for now, all we can do is speculate as to what that ominous shadow really is.
Pero maganda yung mami Ang cute yung baby.
Sticking with freaky selfies, this next one's a doozy.
Ito
It's another
nakakatakot.
photo that often gets passed around social media and old forums with very little info attached to it. It comes from the early 2000s, and the story goes that this girl was taking some selfies in her car. She was all alone and didn't notice anything unusual at all. That is until she sent one of the photos to a friend. The friend replied immediately in a panic, wanting to know who the person in the back was. The girl didn't know what the friend was talking
shit!
about, but when she double-checked the photo, her blood ran cold.
Babasagin ko talaga yung camera na kumuha dyan. Tangina, pag sa
As
akin
you can
nangyari yan.
see, there's a figure in the rear window.
Shit.
It looks to be floating with an ominous scowl on its face.
Parang
Some versions of the
parang
story
mahirap
say the
i-edit
woman
yun.
went missing shortly after sending the photo to her friend.
patay.
Unfortunately, like the previous photo, there's almost no info to go by. So for now, this photo and its story will have to remain a creepypasta, an internet myth that floats about ominously, much like that ghoul in the rear window.
Shit. Basag ang camera pag sa akin.
This
Oy!
next eerie clip
Puta,
was
nakatakot
uploaded
naman
by
to.
TikTok user Vikastupe143.
Yan ang
It
ayoko,
shows
mga manika. No.
something scary happening that has viewers hoping it's all a prank. Watch what happens.
Creepy naman ito, parang totoong. Putang ina mo.
Watching that again, the doll's head moves, seemingly all on its own.
Putang ina mo
It takes
ka.
the person on camera a few seconds to realize that the doll is actually moving, but when they do, they freak out and throw the doll away.
Oh shit.
It's this genuine reaction that has left many viewers puzzled as to whether this is real or not. Many commenters said the doll was cursed or haunted and that this is no joke. Others thought perhaps the person on camera was being pranked by a friend and didn't know what was happening.
Ano ba naman kasing ginagawa mo? Bakit may kalong-kalong kang manika? Diba? Ano ba, tol? Ha?
Fortunately, this is
Ba't
classic
kailangan may
TikTok. The
kalong
clip is
kamay ka?
short with almost no context. So you'll have to watch the clip again and decide for yourself as to what's actually going on here.
Takot yan, tangina. Woo!
Before we take a look at some chilling footage captured at an old cathedral in England, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that bell
Subscribe
icon.
nyo,
there and
slap ham.
Our last clip has been terrifying people since 2015. It was captured by YouTuber Resonance 2001 at the Lincoln Cathedral in Lincoln, England. The OP was there sightseeing and filming the enormous church at night time when they spotted something
Luma-luma,
unsettling. Take a look.
Oh, ano yun? Ay, tangina, nakasilip po. Tangina, no. Oh, shit, nakasilip talaga. Ayaw umalis, oh. Oh, tangina to, gago. Uy! Oh. Tapang nito, grabe. Ako, pag nakita ko yun, iwanan ko na yung phone ko. Bye-bye. Siya, nilapitan pa rin niya eh.
Watching that again, you can see what looks to be a young girl's face peeking around the corner.
Woo! Yung mga nakakatakot, yung mga sumisilip-silip.
When the camera holder looks around the corner, there's no one there.
Dahil natakot ako dun ah.
All the while, the cathedral's bell tolls ominously in the background. This enormous, early Gothic-style cathedral was built in the High Middle Ages, with construction commencing in 1072. In 1349, the plague swept through the city of Lincoln, indiscriminately killing men, women and children. The Black Death took such a toll on the city that bodies began to pile up. There was very little room or enough resources to manage the burgeoning health crisis. Officials realised that the bodies needed to be blessed and buried on consecrated grounds, so they decided to hold a mass burial near the top of the greenstone steps at the cathedral. Local legend says that on the anniversary of the mass burial, the ghosts of the plague victims roam around the grounds of the church, seeking salvation for their eternal suffering. Then there's Queen Anne's Well, a small stone structure at the rear of the cathedral. Urban legend states that if you walk around the well 7 times, then place your finger into one of the holes on the side of the well, you'll be judged by Satan himself. If your soul is pure, then all you'll feel is the devil's breath on your finger. If you've sinned, then your finger will be bitten off.
Oh, tangina niya.
And while these ghost stories are fun to tell your friends at night time, many locals believe that there's a thread of truth that runs through these old legends. To this day, witnesses claim they've seen mysterious figures on the grounds of the cathedral. Transparent shapes, shadowy entities, and disembodied laughing are a regular occurrence on the grounds at night time.
Yan ang maganda kay Slap
So
Ham
now
eh,
that
no?
you've heard the legends, what do you make of this YouTuber's footage? Could this young girl be a plague victim roaming the grounds looking for help? Take another look at the footage and judge for yourself.
Takot ako dito. Ayoko na may nakakasumisilip eh. Wala kang laban dun eh. Wala kasing laban doon sa sumisilip kasi malamang pag sumisilip halos hindi mo siya nakikita, no? Kasilip lang sa'yo. maganda kay Slab Hump, may mga history, 'di ba? May mga explanation siya, meron siyang mga kwento, kaya magigets mo yung magigets mo yung istorya nung video. So yun, sa nag-request ito, maraming salamat sa panonood. Sana nag-enjoy kayo. At summer na, no? Swimming tayo. Tara. So yun, maraming salamat sa panonood. Hanggang sa muli.